Great.
Hey, what's up, everybody? It's Wednesday. It is Xbox Nation Day. There was a lot of interesting news that happened today. I'm really looking forward to talking about it. We've got a great panel assembled. It's going to be, and I don't say this often, man, a megaton show. Me use the word megaton. I'm not really sure that that's happened very often, but this is going to be a megaton show because there was a lot of cool stuff that happened and some not so cool. Xbox Live completely dropped the ball today. People were freaking out like,
it's
oh my
the
God.
end of
Can't
the
wait.
world as
Can't
we
wait
know
till we get to
it.
that segment.
Exactly. People were freaking out like, oh my God, PlayStation Network is so much better. It's so much better. And I'm sitting there thinking, you know what? I don't know, man. This is like the first time that I can remember in a long time where, you know, we had any kind of issues with Xbox Live like this. And I personally didn't have the issue. So I'm not exactly sure exactly how widespread it was. We're going to get into that in a little bit, but it's definitely something we're talking about. And, you know, hey, that's our future, folks. We all want digital. We all want
It's the future, people.
It's the future. Like VR, Fox. Exactly. It is. Whoa, not like that.
Wait, what the hell?
Yes,
Who's
not
playing
like that.
Doom right now? Like, I want to know.
So make sure you guys that are joining us hit that like button, share it out, all that kind of stuff. I really do appreciate it. I want to introduce the panel. We've got the one and only Adam Sandler. I mean Mooch.
That's all right.
Yes. I'm just joking. Man.
Joe.
Somebody mentioned Sloppy Joe.
Joe.
Yeah. Sloppy Joe.
No, great show tonight. We're gonna have a great show. I'm ready to go. We have so much time off between M&C and this that I'm just ready to talk. A lot of good subjects. You start it up, Crap, and I'll start yelling.
Yes, that's how this works. That's how it works. If everybody doesn't know, I get Mooch all riled up, and sometimes I get him and Salty riled up.
That's what you do. That's what he does. He sets up this is what he does. Crap just sits back on Xbox Nation. And he's like, how do I tie this in? I know Mooch hates this, and I know Salty might like this. So what I'll do is I'll say it right back to back, and then I'll let them go at it.
And then I can just sit back and eat some
Starbursts.
Eat some Starbursts. Exactly. And basically that's how it goes, folks. So let me introduce the saltiest one who mentioned to us that he ate a whole lot of food before the show, so he is very full and probably doing a food coma deal. Salty, what's going on, man?
Hey, man, I am in a food coma. I had some good collard greens, some chicken. Man, oh, goodness. All right. If you guys haven't tried collard greens, I really highly recommend it. It's not really a veg that people go to in the. Okay, this isn't a cooking show. Let's get to the show. All right.
Yeah, that's a Southern food.
Food Nation. Let's do this.
We also got Lady Foxfire joining us tonight. How's it going, Foxy? What's going on?
It's the end of the world as we know it.
Xbox Live. Oh my God.
I wasn't affected by it either, but it sucks for those that were. But it's okay, people. It's back. Calm down.
Yes.
What's up, Crappy? How are you? What's up, panel?
You know
what's up, chat?
I'm doing good. It's cold, man. It's that polar
freezing
vortex
in
or whatever.
55. Man. It's freezing.
38 degrees here right now. What's your neck of the woods, Mooch?
We are at a balmy 4. Not 14.
I love it.
I didn't mess that up. It's 4.
Single digits. Never seen it.
4. Nice. Nice to see that. Nice to see that.
You up.
It does.
Right? Sure does.
Absolutely.
Yes.
We also got making his second straight appearance, Predator. I was like, hey man, too late to get you on the show. He's like, never too late. And I was like, hell yeah, that's what I'm talking about. What's up, Pred?
Always coming off the bench, man. Happy to be here for a second straight show. Thank you for having me on again.
No problem, man. You're going to be dropping those threes, man. I'm looking forward to it. And we also got making his, I don't know, he comes in here often, man, when I can get him on here, especially when we're talking hardware and stuff like this. You kiss that ring, it's the dawn. What's up, man?
Whoa. That made me incredibly uncomfortable. I'm not going to lie.
Incredibly uncomfortable.
What the?
No. Oh, sure he did. How's Mud Trucks treating you, Don?
Yeah, that's always a good game. That's a winner. Maybe I should do it this weekend for XBot.
Oh yeah.
No, hate that. That's
do
great.
It.
No show this week.
Oh, that's right.
It just got canceled.
He knew, yeah.
Well,
but
anyway,
regardless of my black screen of death, I can still play Mud Trucks on my Xbox. So
that's still the game.
Too soon.
No, it still worked. That's the funny thing is my screen turned black this morning. I'm like, what the hell's going on? And then the navigation button still works. And since Mud Trucks is on my more commonly played games. I was able to just select it and boot it up. So.
Hey, that's awesome, man. Good to see that Mud Trucks is able to get in there. Shout out to everybody in the chat, man. Lethal Papa, he's out there moderating, doing his thing. Like always, appreciate that, bro. Everybody else, man, if you guys got questions or whatever, hey, Dark Carnage, I don't know who was doing the kissy stuff. It wasn't me. That wasn't me, man. Wasn't me. But I do appreciate the Don being here, and I can respect the Italianness of kissing that ring. Trust me. Yes, it doesn't get much better than that. So, with that being said, I want to jump right into today's topics. Obviously, the Xbox Live black screen of death was a bit of an issue. A lot of people freaking out over this. This is something that I didn't personally experience. People are like, OMG, it's so bad. Like that, literally, I guess there were millions of people, and Microsoft, I guess, was trying to implement some kind of feature, and it was on their end. And so basically when you booted up your Xbox, you just got a black screen and you weren't able to really do anything. Obviously, this is an issue. Had something to do with Xbox Live, not really your Xbox console itself. But of course, Twitter, everybody else just talking about how, their Xboxes are broken and Microsoft sucks and they're going to switch to PlayStation now, of course, because PlayStation Network is so reliable. And, just a bit unfortunate. Mooch, what is your take on this? Because I haven't really talked to you much today. What did you think?
I saw it, and I did what everyone else did. I saw that people were saying, hey, I'm having this issue. I scrolled about whatever it would be, two swipes down on the phone, and saw that Xbox support was like, we're on it. We actually see what it is. We'll have it fixed soon. And I was like, okay, time to shut my phone off. This is not a big deal. And it's one thing if you scroll down and you saw Xbox support being like, I don't know what the hell it is. Well, that's a problem, okay? But when they're like, we've located it, we know what it is, we're on it, I'm like, okay, time to put the phone away, go back to work, and not worry about this. The other thing is like, listen, we've been doing this crap since 2014, okay? Like, Xbox goes down, everybody shits the bed. PlayStation goes down, everybody shits the bed. At this point, and maybe it's because I'm numb to it, they all have their oops or their holy shit moment for about 2 to 3 hours every so many months. And when it happens, like you said, either side just starts to go crazy. And, it's really absolutely no big deal. And I think that did this affect everybody on Xbox, or was it just the preview folks? I heard it was I think it was everybody.
It was probably, it was everybody.
Right?
It wasn't preview because my X is not on the preview program.
And Don will probably get a little bit more into the logistics and the situation, the awareness of it. But coming from my end of it, and I wasn't home when all this happened. I was at work. But I mean, like, I'm sure everything's fine now. I've heard everything is fine and backing up and running. That they're going to fix it. Like, there's people who are on Twitter that were like, oh, my God, I'm actually en route right now to buy a new Xbox. Screw you, Phil. And I'm like, dude, just
here I am, Phil. Here's my Xbox One. I'm trading it in.
It was like 2 degrees out. It was 2 degrees out, and they had their hand out in a fist, like as they're driving down the street and they're recording it. The hell with you, Phil? It's freezing.
It's PS4 time, baby. Woo!
Time to trade this bastard in.
It's because of you, Phil. You did this. You ruined
I'll take the
Xbox.
minimum value.
Yes, I'm going to GameStop right now.
Like, why are we doing this? Like, what is wrong with everybody? We know it that we are no longer in the era of what happens in digital content world. What does DRM stand for? What am I going to do? Like, you guys know it's wait 2 hours and then play the game you were just playing.
I have the answer for you, Mooch. It's called #fake outrage. It's spreading through social media and in YouTube. I gave that hashtag to good old Angry Joe when he was talking about the skins for Anthem or whatever, and he messaged he sent a reply back with the Salt Bay GIF or whatever. That actually made my day. But it's funny how people just get on these trains. And I was getting multiple calls. People were just freaking out. My friend calls me. He's like, "What the hell, dude? My screen's black. What's going on? You got to help me." I'm like, calm down, dude. It's going to be okay. He's like, is this like the red ring of death? Blah, blah, blah. And I was like, dude, it's a Xbox Live problem. It's probably going to be fixed within a couple minutes, blah, blah, blah. Sure enough, it was. He did a hard reset and all is solved. I mean, the sky is falling all the time on social media.
Well, that's and I'm going to give the mic to everyone on the panel here, but John
Xbox is the worst box.
He goes, Mooch, just try too hard. I'm not, buddy. I've been doing this for about 4 years now, and just like clockwork, that train's never late. Every 3 months, one system or the other always goes down, and everybody loses their mind.
Oh, hold on. I got a big bill to pay.
Oh, yes.
Yobi Trent. Man, good Lord, this guy's a supporter. I tell you
awesome.
what. With the almost 50 spot, he says, peace, love, life. Crackdown 3 is almost upon us. Also, from me to you, Crap, it's game time. Next gen for Xbox. Mooch, I love you, my guy. Lady Fox will send you a Nintendo Switch soon. Holy crap.
Oh,
Wow.
baby.
Wow. So Shady needs to be added to the panel, and so add So Shady to Crossfire Xbox stations. You know, I've had nothing but a good time with Shady every time I've been a guest on a show with them, so I've got no problem with. You know what? I got no problems with nobody. You know, I'm just being honest. That's not my bag. Is definitely not having a problem. You guys probably know that. Everybody here knows that. And I think that I like to talk video games, and so does everybody here. And that's what it's all about. If you're here for something else, there's plenty of channels for that. You know. Video games is something that I enjoy. Video games is something I enjoy talking about. You know, it's like same thing with sports, right, Foxy?
Sports!
And you know, I'm excited about Crackdown 3, and it's a topic today too, Yobi. So really appreciate it. Appreciate the shout outs in the morning on Twitter and stuff like that, man. It really does mean a lot to have your support. Yes. I know everybody here is very appreciative as well. So thank you so much for that, man. Appreciate it. Definitely. Thank you very much. Back to you, Mooch.
I pretty much said my piece. I wonder what Foxy's got to say.
Oh, okay, Foxy. On you. How's the weather?
Oh, no, I'm kidding. I'm gonna stop doing that. The thing about this stuff is when people freak out, I'm just like, yeah, just wait an hour or two. It should be back on for both systems, whatever. It's when it's down for a month that we have an issue, and that's happened in the past with the PlayStation 3. Okay, so I don't want to go there again.
Yeah. I agree 100%. It's really a non-issue. I just thought it was funny because it like what I like to do is just jump on that fake outrage. You know what I mean? It's like people feel a certain way about something. They don't really feel a certain way. It's that mob mentality. Well you're like Mooch. What? Raise taxes? What?
What?
Where are we gonna put our crazy people? What? Raise taxes?
Realistically, the thing is, though, Crap, I'm not even talking about the ones that we all know that there's a line drawn in the sand, right? And everyone's taking a side. I get that. So if it's the guys that go back and forth, I actually don't even have a problem with that. That's their bag. That's what they do. I'm actually confused with the people that are the Xbox fans.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not talking about the console war or the bashing. I'm not talking about that. There's people who are big time Xbox fans who are like, what? What do I do? I hate to read. What am I supposed to do right now? And I'm like, dude, it says right there. I know you're all following Xbox support. It says in an hour. We'll have it figured out. They had it figured out in about an hour and a half. Yeah. Maybe a few of you had to reset the box 2 or 3 times. I mean, realistically, it's like it's not the end of the world. I mean, we've all gone to an ATM that's out of service, right? We've all gone to a pull-up window where it says, not this window, pull up further. Okay?
Yeah. And I'm like, how dare you?
How dare you? You know what?
How dare you?
So I don't understand why we have to sit here when this happens every 3 months. And that's why I said Salt nailed it with the hashtag fake outrage. It's ridiculous, and I think it's just everybody on Twitter wants to pile on. It's the same thing with Fallout 7. By the way, Fallout 76 is playing very well right now. Where's all that hate? Anyway,
Fallout 76 sucks. Hashtag. Right?
Hashtag tweet.
Yes, Rocket Robin.
Right? Thank you. Yeah, but I mean, that's my whole thing.
Nobody else got that, but you got it. I'm sure.
I just don't get it. I don't get it. Why everybody? Of course I did, Crap. But
hashtag we're old.
Hashtag I get it.
Yes.
I don't know, but as Predator, and I'm actually interested to hear with the Don. I mean, Don knows. I mean, this stuff goes down all the time. Shit happens, guys. I mean, like I said, if you scroll down so Xbox support, be like, well, we don't know what it is. Then you pile on.
Yeah.
Right?
I mean, things are going to happen with anything. I think, and this is what I've been trying to talk about last Saturday on Next Podcast with Xbox. Like, look, we live in a world where things are going to go down. The question is, how long is acceptable, right? And how quickly they get on it and fix the problem, right? So if you take like a Master Chief Collection sort of scenario, kind of acceptable. That was it was like a year or 2 years before they start really digging deep and fixing that. I don't think that's acceptable. But I think when you have, like, for example, a new game, or before a game is released, but at release, I expect the first couple of days to be rough. I just do. I mean, and I'm not going to get upset about it. I'm not going to pull the fire alarm. I'm not going to react to that situation. But a week goes by, if there's not improvement within that week, then I would say, then there's something that we can all get behind and say, hey, this has been a while. We've been more than reasonable as customers in regards to this situation. Get it fixed, right? And then that's a reasonable request from a consumer standpoint too. So here's the thing: no business is in the business to screw up. Like, that's the thing. Also, people need to understand they're not intentionally doing these things. Like, they want money. That's how they work. So when Xbox Live is down, guess what? You can't do purchases on their services. So they look at it as like not being able to have their store open. And so that's extremely important for Xbox. So, and it's the same goes with PlayStation. It's a matter of how often, how long, and how they handle it. I think what it really comes down to, because we're going to have these situations in the future, and I think customers need to decide when is a good time to pull the fire alarm together. Because I think you guys can have a really big voice, but if it's all crazy outrage and no one can make sense of it, then what good does that do? That's kind of my take on it. So
not much good, to be honest with you. Pred, what is your take, man?
See, I was at this magical place called work all day.
Imagine that, right, Pred?
Yeah, since the government's not shut down anymore. So like, I didn't have to deal with this. So like, when I got home, everything was fine. And it's like the people who are complaining about it are people who probably sitting at home not working today, and it affected you if you were home. Like the majority of the people who had affected were probably not even able to play. The people who are complaining and griping were the ones who weren't even home in the fucking first place. They're probably at work or doing some other shit outside the house. So like, it sucks it was down, but like Don was saying, it happens. We're in a digital age. Shit goes down. It's almost like we have to expect it, which is kind of sad to say, but we're dealing with internet. We're dealing with the things over IP. So like, these things tend to happen from time to time. It happens in the government, in the military, all the time. We get outages. You're going to get them. So get used to it. As long as they're trying to fix it and they're trying to get to a point where it's going to be, like they acknowledge it. They know what the problem is and they're fixing it. That's one thing. Like he said before, the issue is we don't know what the fuck's going on. Like that's where you start pulling your hair out. But they knew what the problem was. You see
stuff like this, and that's when you watch these things. And I know Crap and a bunch of people left watching The Walking Dead, and that's fine. Everyone has their reasons. That's why I like watching that. I feel like it better prepares me for the apocalypse, because I got to be honest with you. Like, a game system goes down for an hour and a half, and people are like running around like crazy, like tipping cars over in Detroit. I'm like, what is going on? Like, it's not that big of a deal. To
be honest with you, when the internet goes out for any length of time, that's when things start to get bad, right? Yeah, exactly, dude. I'm with you, dude, because you know what? That's my TV too. That's and you can't even watch a Blu-ray anymore without being connected to the internet.
God damn it.
Yeah, you can't watch anything. So you like, what do, man? You got to break out like that old school thing that you can watch DVDs on.
Well, there's a lot of things you can do, Crap. First of all, you can actually go out there and spend $89 and buy a Blu-ray player that's self-sufficient, or you can play your SNES Mini or your Nintendo Mini and things other like that you bought.
Get that Game Boy, right? Get that 3DS.
I'm trying to give you guys that. You can get your magnifying glass out and burn ants. I mean, there's things you can do.
Firing up that VCR.
Okay.
What the hell?
VCR?
Get that VCR out.
I'm just saying, like, everyone has forgot that without the internet, there's nothing to do. I'm saying there's other things to do. There's probably like something in the kitchen that can use a repair. Do something.
He said play Uno, goddammit.
Play
No,
Uno.
my fridge is connected to the internet, so I don't know what he's talking about.
Damn.
Don't give me that West Coast talk. You're in Utah.
He can play Skyrim on his refrigerator. So that's absolutely amazing. I think that's stunning. Hey, hit that like button, guys, if you're joining us. Share it out. Let's get over 100 likes. See if we can't make that happen. Yeah, like I do some of that stuff, but you know what I like to do? I take a power nap. If I'm home and I got no internet, just take that power nap. I know it's the opposite of what you guys think of as a power nap. I like to crash for a good 2-3 hours and then, wake up feeling nice. I see
you go to sleep and you close your eyes and you're like, when I wake up, please God, let there be internet. When I wake up, please God, let there be internet.
Let there be internet. Hey, yeah. That happens to me too. Whenever there's a power outage or something, I go, okay, well, you know what? if it's not too hot out, I'll try to go to sleep and then wake up.
You guys were kids, you would turn all the light switches on when the power went off, And then when
Yes.
the power is shut on, every single device in your house starts turning on. And
No, we didn't do that though.
I
You didn't do
totally
that?
did not
No.
do that, Don.
I did. I
I
turned
was used to this shit because I was a fucking hurricane.
Yeah,
That would-
vacuum cleaners plugged in and everything. It was ridiculous.
You didn't
Yeah,
pop
what-
any breakers?
What the fuck?
AP Cool J says VCR is coming back way better video quality. And you know what's funny is I posted that meme not too long ago about the VCR mini. And yeah, so you know what I mean? I can't
Cute.
stand it. Like I know some people they don't mind like lesser quality. I can't stand to watch stuff that's like old school quality. You know, it's got to be at least 1080p because that makes you a better like movie viewer, in my opinion. But mostly, I like to watch 4K now. So, you know, that's just how I am. You know, and hopefully, if you guys had a problem with your Xbox, by the way, hopefully it's on its way to being rectified or completely. I haven't heard of very many problems anymore. So hopefully, everybody has that kind of fixed out. This is something very big. And probably should have been there from the beginning. Sea of Thieves, Mooch, finally getting the ability to disable crossplay. This seems like something
We only
that you
told
should-
Craig Duncan to do it when we interviewed him before the game came out.
Yes, this seems like this should be something that has "der" in front of it because we all told him this, right? I get it, right? Microsoft likes the whole idea of crossplay. You can play with this person and play with people on their iPod, and is that even still a thing? iPods? I don't even know, but you know, on their iPhones and on their whatever, you know, play it on a potato because apparently that's what you can play this game on. But now they're actually allowing you to disable it, which should have been there from the beginning, in my opinion, right? A lot of people won't care. A lot of people will still play with it. Apparently, if you play with keyboard and mouse, it automatically enables crossplay and you can't turn it off. But I guess
That's a keyboard and mouse. That's a them problem.
the bad part is if you play with the keyboard and mouse, I'm not sure. I haven't seen this yet. You might be stuck playing with them if they're on Xbox and they have a keyboard and mouse. I don't know if that puts them directly in competition with other PC players or not. I realize it's not a hugely competitive game and people are like, suck it up, Crapgamer, but in my opinion, keep it as fair as possible. You know, we've seen the bad of what happens when you get forced to play with PC dudes, Mooch, haven't we?
Yeah,
And,
absolutely.
It's not fun. It kind of ruins the game. So this is something that should be and needs to be in all future games. I'm not sure why Microsoft drops the ball on their own stuff, right? Like this is something where they're like, we give developers the tools, and then you ask developers, and they're just like, hell no, we're not going to let keyboard and mouse play against controller. And Microsoft's like, yeah, let's see what happens. You know that Larry David gif, Mooch, where he's like, you know what I mean? Like that's Microsoft's stance on it. Let's see how bad the console gamers can get screwed, and then maybe we'll react a year later. This is almost a year later, Mooch. A year.
I the whole thing's an absolute. I'm glad they fixed the problem. This kind of goes back to what Dom was talking about a minute ago when he was saying the level of severity on the waiting. Okay. And luckily, and I know you have it as a topic, so maybe you want to mesh them together about the resurgence of Sea of Thieves on Twitch and streaming, which is great. But realistically speaking, this has been an issue with a lot of the hardcore Xbox fans playing Sea of Thieves that they've wanted the crossplay turned off. And here's the thing I think that a lot of people in Microsoft's camp and in Sony's camp are not paying attention to. I think crossplay is the buzzword. Okay, but I think the true thing that gamers want is cross progression.
Yeah,
that's what we want. Now, I'll give you an example, and I know you're going to get into this too. But Anthem, I would be very, very up for them to allow us to have. If I want to play Anthem on PC and then move my character between Xbox and PC, that would mean a lot to someone like me personally. But this whole thing with crossplay, there's enough people on Xbox with Game Pass that I don't need, and not just that, the servers are not letting thousands of people onto the seas. Okay. There's just another 6-7 boats out there, maybe 12 boats if I'm way off, 20 if I'm really off. You don't need to have the cross play. We don't need the help from that other community. Let those folks play over there and let the Xbox folks play over here, because apparently they're also having a hard time controlling the bugs and the pirates and the et ceteras.
The biggest thing that was the issue here is the cheating. It's not necessarily the mouse and keyboard, because how much of an advantage are you going to get on mouse and keyboard for Sea of Thieves? Like it doesn't. It's not really a big issue in my opinion. I think Microsoft kind of drug their feet because they're trying to make sure that the game was healthy enough to have the player base to disable it. In my opinion, it wasn't that big of an issue. I played Sea of Thieves it's probably one of my most played games of 2018, to be honest with you. And I wasn't going in there and saying, my God, I can't play this game. It's broken because there's cross-play in here.
Right.
That was never something that came across my mind. I think that cross-play is important for the developers. It's not really a thing that they're implementing for the players. I understand what you're saying with the cross-progression situation. That's kind of a player desire. But when it comes with the player bases and making sure that these multiplayer-focused games have the player bases for the extended period for the future, you're set up for your game, that your lobbies aren't going to be, 10-minute queue times or 20-minute queue times. They just want to make sure that that's a thing. So I think that's more of a pat on the back for the developers. Hey, we're going to get you with this crossplay. We're going to make sure your lobbies are good to go for the future, But yeah, I think that Sea of Thieves, there's not really any advantage when it comes to mouse and keyboard. And then the whole thing with the Twitch numbers, and I think that's what pushed it overboard, because Gold Glove, or whatever his name is, he was griefing a whole bunch of players and picking on people. So they were forced to come out with the statement and say, hey, we have a policy where we don't accept toxicity and all this other stuff. And now they're coming out with this option where you can turn crossplay on and off. I think it just has exactly to do with that, because the popularity jumped up, so they had to address it.
Yeah.
I also think they're adding this ability to toggle it on or off because they're adding Arena, and that's when it's going to come out with the update for Arena next month.
That's the
so
real
that's
reason.
yeah, that's they want to make sure that people don't feel like they're being one is better than the other or being picked on or whatever, because you could go in with a crew, and I think it's bigger than what you usually go in with, so it might be all PC boys or whatever. And sometimes I do feel like there's a difference. Usually I don't, but sometimes if I feel like, okay, this guy's too good, or I feel like I'm laggy or something when I'm near that bad guy and we're fighting, I don't know. I feel like, okay, I think he's on PC for some reason, and then he only talks in the chat and never on the headset. Then I'm like, okay, this is kind of odd.
Yeah.
So you played with PC players and you've had that kind of experience.
Yes. I played it recently as well, like this weekend that just came out.
Well, I mean, hey, Mooch, you play it too. Have you run into any problems with PC players lately?
I mean, I kind of understand where Salt's coming from on that. I mean, we ran into our issue crap when we played that one time with Clowns and Assassin, and yeah, it's happened maybe once or twice, but do I just shut the game off and be like, screw it, I'm not playing this game again? No, I don't go that far with it. But the thing about it is, though, even though I agree with Salt's point, it should be, listen, we are in the generation of options. It is 4 degrees out, and if I want to go out there and have a lemon ice in the middle of that weather, I can do that.
You can do that. Go ahead, man.
Do that shit.
Okay?
Yeah. Don't do it, though, Mooch. Don't.
Well, why not? It's my option.
Where you
My whole thing about it is this, is that, Microsoft is like, we're for everybody. Everybody's a gamer, and we're for the gamers, and Xbox is PC, and PC is Xbox. Well, if that's true, Xbox, then give the option, because there are people, I agree, it's not the keyboard and mouse that makes you better, it's the hacking and the cheating. Okay? That's the problem. So, and that happens on PC. And I think even PC fans will tell you, it happens. Well, it's not that it's the say-all, end-all, or PC players aren't enjoying themselves, but console people kind of go to their safe place because they don't have to deal with that. So that's why this is, regardless, and Don and Foxy are right, the actual reason is because of Arena. But I'm saying this is a great move by them, and I'll also say that this move is 12 months too late. They should have done this day one.
Yeah.
And they should do that with every game they come out with their store. Like they gotta give us, especially like with Gears and stuff like that, especially these shooters like that. Like I get, like, if Anthem, it's not a PvP game, but like there's some games like that you don't really need it in. But there's games like Sea of Thieves, maybe not as much, but like the Twitch shooters, like they definitely need to implement that. But keep in mind, a lot of these games that are crossplay aren't really like those type of games. You know what I'm saying? Like that we've gotten so far that are play anywhere on both consoles, like Forza, where there's rampant cheating all the time. Like I know I see it in Sea of Thieves. I've seen it myself too when I played because I kind of flip flop between PC and Xbox sometimes, but and I don't really play Forza competitively, but those are only really the two games that I play that kind of flip flop back and forth from PC to Xbox, and I can see it in Sea of Thieves. Like I can tell someone's playing with a keyboard. Like, you hear the clicking on the keyboard and shit like that in the headset.
That's the annoying part. That's the thing I hate is the clicking on the keyboard.
Like you know what's happening. Like you're getting destroyed by some team or something like that.
Yeah,
but
they're turning around doing that 360 and all that kind of stuff,
Yeah.
right? Like
like when I used to play PUBG a lot on PC, like I play with the controller because I suck at keyboard and mouse. I'm still trying to figure some of this shit out. But so I play with my controller, and there's times where I'm like, that motherfucker's cheating. You know, like I can tell because I'm like, there, I'm shooting the guy and I'm lagging like a motherfucker.
Here's the deal. I've been playing so long. I think it's a thing to fall back on when you need to get good at a game per se, because you could always blame it on lag or lack of skill or someone's on keyboard. The thing is like people are going to be using mouse and keyboard regardless if it's supported or not. That's the thing. It doesn't matter. Like this mouse and keyboard argument is one that's been going on for a while. I've been getting sniped by mouse and keyboard for years. You know what I'm saying? Xbox One doesn't support mouse and keyboard, doesn't support crossplay on Overwatch competitive. When I'm getting 360 sniped by a fucking Widowmaker, and you know it's a keyboard player, that wasn't supported. So I can't go back and say, well, they should turn it off or they should turn it on. The thing is people are going to try to get whatever advantage they can. You know what I'm saying? Regardless if it's supported or not.
On that same note, though, my thing is it's game balancing is the big thing, right? Better matchmaking; those are the better solutions, because we can take this argument to like people that have the accessibility controller, right? They should be able to play with other people if they have the skill set with that controller, right? We shouldn't categorize them, put them in a different category. That's the way I kind of feel like mouse. Not everyone's good with mouse. Some people just suck.
I suck at it.
And some people are ridiculously good with a controller. So the question is, if we can match people together that are similar skill level, regardless of interface, I think is the proper solution. And the problem with Sea of Thieves, they tried that early on. What they did is they did it with kind of locking your mouse sensitivity and stuff like that. But then basically PC players complained about that, even though there was a way around that with hardware fixes with the mouses you decide to buy. And so it slowly progressed to what the PC players wanted, and eventually they had to, I think now that we're getting into this competitive arena area, I think eventually they're just like, okay, we weren't able to balance this game in this scenario, so we gotta be able to have an option to separate it. And that's why I say I don't think it's an easy, like, it's not a black and white answer. I know a lot of people take that stance, but I think there's a lot of variety of gamers and what they can do out there, and I think we have to take all that stuff in consideration.
I could agree with that, because I've had that experience on the Gears, and I feel like just because they're on PC, it doesn't mean that they're automatically better. There are times where they try to keep their distance, so they don't have to worry about like chainsaw, shotgun up close. So I do notice those things, but they don't bother me. So when they get those
snipies, though, when they get that sniper,
I know they want that distance. And Blades has done that against me before too, which is funny when we play like private matches.
That's a gameplay balance problem, right? Like if you have mouse and keyboard, and someone with a mouse has a distinct advantage with, like, say, that sniper, the M-bar, I believe it. If correct me if I'm wrong, then maybe that gun shouldn't be in the game. And maybe
that's one of them. Yeah.
So maybe that should, and then that affects like the end result of the game too. So like, okay, if it's an imbalance thing, then maybe we miss out on a gun. So it's a complex conversation as far as all that stuff is concerned. Sorry, I didn't mean to.
But it is awesome that they're finally adding it. Yeah, you guys are right. It's better late than never, but they should have been there in the start, or at least like the first couple of months. I do like having that option, like I said, with Gears, even if it doesn't bother me. I like having the option to turn it off when I invite my friends and they don't like PC gamers. Crappy.
Yeah. I mean, look, me and Mooch, we've kicked out Delirium Blades. We're like, yo, dude, get on Xbox. Dude, get on Xbox,
Gears,
man. Get on Gear. Yeah, get on Xbox, because that dude, we'll play on PC and just like hit you with some amazing shots, and you're like, what the hell is going on here? So yeah, I like having that option. I don't care if they want to go ahead and do it. I think that basically what that's going to do later on with stuff like Halo, because you know that they're going to try to mix that. That's going to end up taking the pool out of people.
I just think it's very plain and simple. I think we've all said it, crap, but I think this is just the way it is. And Microsoft, let's use their words, so it's not us, it's them. They're like, what's wrong with options? What's wrong with this? Right? Games go to PC same days they come to Xbox. What's wrong with options? So
keep in mind, this is fairly new.
So we're saying what's wrong with options? Like, give us a toggle on and off. And there's times you do want to play with some of your PC friends. Don't take the option away from some people.
There's never a time I want to play with PC friends.
Well, there's Xbox.
What about Rocket League? That's not a big deal.
Your buddies with Xbox One. Xbox One says that him and his family, they play Sea of Thieves. And some of them play on PC in the family.
And they'll be able to continue. Yep.
That's what I just said. So give them the option, not you, but give people the option, and that's fine. And that's the part that kind of bugs me about it, is the minute when we were saying that, people from Xbox were like, well, options are great when we want them, but not when you guys want them. Like, all right, thanks, Redmond.
Well, keep in mind, this crossplay thing is fairly new, so they're still trying to figure out even though we've discussed this in the past over like the last since this all came out, but like I think they're still trying to figure out the groundwork on what they want to do with crossplay as far as PC versus Xbox and console players. So like, especially once we start adding in PlayStation and whatever other fucking company comes out with the system, like they got to figure out the balance.
The Switch, the iPad.
And it's funny, Pred, I want to run with what you're saying, Pred, but the reason I disagree with you is they know until the headline comes out that says PC hacking has been solved.
That's never going to happen, though.
You're right.
So if it's not going to happen, then when you're like, well, it's relatively new, and it's not relatively new. We know that it's a problem, and it's the reason a lot of people play on console.
Do you think it's a game by game basis thing though? Like, because a game like Anthem, like
cheating is going on in classrooms. It's going on in banks.
Yeah, I guess
it's going on everywhere, Fred. So it's not a game by game. It's a life situation, and you've got security all over the place trying to prohibit that from happening more and more. They know that they can't tackle this, so to leave that open is not. And like I said, it's not. I do agree again with what Salty said. This is not a keyboard and mouse discussion. But when me and Clowns and Assassin and Crap were playing, and Assassin and Clowns are both Pirate Legends, by the way. And when we were playing with them, right, and all of a sudden, the people that were putting 75, cannonballs into their ship, and nothing's happening, and they're just warping from their ship over to our ship, killing us, taking our stuff, and then warping back. Like that's
a hacking issue, yeah.
Well, absolutely, and they know this is going on.
Which actually happens on console too.
That's great. I'm saying that's a larger problem. They got a big problem. They got a big problem.
That's the thing. So like, we want to point the finger at somebody when things are not going right. I totally get it. And PC definitely has a reputation, so let's not ignore that. But sometimes we shouldn't have a knee-jerk reaction in regards to that. Because I was doing gameplay on next podcast where I was making ships fly in the air, and I'm sure seen it and stuff like that. And that's actually was a ping issue. Yeah, that was a ping issue that was going on, and that's the same thing that they're using to basically manipulate the game. I think that's been fixed since then, but who knows?
Yeah.
Well, I can tell you this: what we ran into specifically, Don, was something that was specifically PC related, because they were downloading these hacks and they were linking the YouTube videos on how to do it, right? Because I was showing them and forwarding them to the team. Right. I'm like, look, they're showing people how to do this. You guys are saying we're not even sure anybody is cheating on PC. I'm like, here they are showing you exactly how to do it and what you could do with it, playing against console people. And you guys are not really paying attention. And for the longest time, I refused to go back and play.
They addressed those too. And they even had like a little community thing where they talk to the community, say, hey, we recognize the cheating, we're following. But the thing is, like, as a developer, you don't want to just hit the ban hammer on somebody that's totally innocent, right? So you got to follow habits, and that sucks because everyone else is having a bad experience in the meantime. So it's just like a no-win situation.
How about this, Don? How about while you're fixing the problem, You put the crossplay toggle on.
Hell yeah.
And
There you go.
it all goes back to that. So no matter what the defense is, that's the cause and effect is if you had that on there, you'd be like, we see there's problems. If it's bothering you, shut it off, and we'll let you know when we've remedied the situation.
Yep. Agreed.
Yep. Like give them the option, have it turned off. Hey,
It's not, hey, wait till we fix this. You know what I mean? That's like if your tablecloth at a restaurant lit on fire. It's like, you don't move you to another table. They're like, let me just get enough ice and water to put it out. Don't worry, it won't hit your plate. It's like, no, I want another table while this shit's on fire. And that's the problem is that, like, when you say this to the developers, you say this to Xbox, it's Xbox's PC and PC is Xbox. And that's not, that may be for some people on the panel, maybe for some people in the chat, and for some people listening later, but that's not for the majority of console gamers. And I don't think that that's sinking in yet. Food!
Yes. You're 100% right, Mooch. I think that it should be disabled. It should have been turned off, or at least given us the option. The sad part is, like I said, in the future, say Halo Infinite, there's going to be people that are going to be new to that game that might not realize you have to toggle it off because it's going to be on by default, I bet. And they're going to get their ass kicked by people with keyboard and mouse, most likely, and never want to go back to that game again. That's a bad experience.
Baby.
Yes, that's a bad experience. So as far as I'm concerned, it should be off by
Default.
Yes, it should be off by default, and that's exactly how it should be. I hate the fact that you got to go in there and actually toggle and look for I didn't even know you could turn it off in Gears. Fox had to show me. She's like, you can turn it. Yeah. She's like, how do you do it again, Fox? Like, I couldn't even tell you offhand if somebody asked me how to do that.
Yeah, because they added it after the fact. That's why. It's not like they had it in the beginning of the game. Yeah.
Just real quick, I understand where you guys are coming from, but what if the developer came out and said, hey, you can toggle it all on and off, the player base dwindles, and then they have the decision to make, we got to turn this off permanently, or we got to keep cross-play on to save the player base? Like, wouldn't the players bitch about that? Or like, it's kind of tough when you give people something and then you take it away further down the line.
They can make priority though, right? They can be like, okay, we'll look for console players first, and if we can't find anybody, then we'll team you up with
I'm sure they did that on LawBreakers, but it gets to a point where
what game is that?
What is that?
What's
LawBreakers? I mean, Battleborn, I'm sure they did that as well. Like, it's just gets to a certain point.
The two people playing
some of these games need to have extra players, and I mean, once you give players or people options and then you take them away, you know how it works, man. They just bitch about it, or they'll throw boycotts up. You know what I'm saying? Oh my God, I can't believe they took this option away. We could turn it off before, we can't now. You know, so
well, you know, it kind of goes. You know, I like where Salt's going with this, because if you think about it, if you take Salt's rationale crap when we were interviewing Craig Duncan. He said a lot of people aren't going to like my game, or not like this game. Maybe a lot of people will like the game, but he goes, we're not walking into it thinking this is going to be like a mega hit. And, to be honest with you, that may be a cause of concern, what Salt's saying. Maybe they left it open because Microsoft didn't have a lot of confidence in this game, and they wanted as many players in there as possible. Yeah. And that's a valid point. But you know what, though, Salt? Here's what I say to that. Even though I think your point is valid, I still think that's piss poor. That's like saying that you were going into it knowing the glass is half empty. That's a them problem.
It's a new IP. It's a multiplayer online game. It's not status quo with that, right? You don't know if these IPs are going to hit. We have plenty of examples of games that fell. They don't get the player base. We go back to LawBreakers as an example. It's a new IP. It looks good on paper, but then it flops. So Sea of Thieves on paper was a good concept, but they didn't know this thing was going to take off. Your player base could have been completely dead. I mean, a lot of people said it was dead already, but I mean, it could have been dead, and they needed to make sure this game had everything in place to be able to be healthy for the long term, right? Hey, we need to get teams in place that can support the game, and then they see the player base numbers. Like I was saying, for the longest time, when people were telling me Sea of Thieves is dead and Sea of Thieves is this, and I said, no, it's not. Look at these numbers. There's no way that they'd be hiring this many people at Rare. They'd be splitting divisions up to create content. So it is what it is. It's kind of a time thing. It's kind of like Game Pass. Hey, we're going to implement it with these amount of games, and then we're going to buy these studios and bring them into the fold. It's a process, you know. You can't do it all at once.
Well, I mean, also add to what Salty's saying, more and more games are online dependent. So they pull from the same player base. So the industry does need to grow the amount of players that are out there. So having different people play on different types of devices, anything from PC to console to streaming devices, you know, that's essential. So, you know, it still comes back to you got to matchmake with the appropriate players with those players so they have the right amount of challenge that continues to want them to strive to do better, but not so easy that it's kind of handed to them, and also not so hard that it's frustrating, right? So that's always a balancing thing with games that needs to happen. And we're only in one portion of this. Streaming's coming around the corner, and that's going to be a different segment than the console and the PC gamer. I don't believe it's going to take over, but it is going to be part of the whole out there. And there's some people they're not going to have the same advantage that you and I do on a console or a PC. Mm-hmm. Simple as that. So, you know, they need to be matchmaked with certain people at the same level as that. And so it all makes sense when the pie grows. But when the pie stays stagnant, then this whole separation type thing becomes a problem. Yeah. So the industry really does need growth, and an industry really does need crossplay, because all these games going online. I'm like, what are you going to do if you don't have any player?
I think crossplay if you have the same type of inputs, though, right? I mean, you don't want to let people get slaughtered. That's not because if they're not having fun, I mean, they're not going to stick with it.
Here's the biggest thing.
That's true.
My main game is shooters. It has been for the longest time. This is an age-old argument. It goes past crossplay. It goes back, past mouse and keyboard. You're talking about skill-based matchmaking and then connection-based. There was a problem with Destiny with hackers doing Trials of Osiris, because they would do these skill-based matchmaking matches. And it'd match you based off of your skill. They put a lot of different inputs in there to determine your skill level. But then it's not, putting a priority on your connection. Then your connection's ass. You know what I'm saying? You're lagging all over the place, or people can mess with the connection. So it's this argument goes way beyond crossplay. It's just another nugget into the argument, because you can get advantages. I think one of the biggest advantages, honestly, is a good set of headphones. Like, you can get such an advantage in some of these FPSs. It's ridiculous. Like playing PUBG, if you have a really good headset with Dolby Atmos, it is insane. You could pinpoint where someone is in a building spatially behind me upstairs. You know what I'm saying? If they're playing
in the third bedroom.
He's upstairs, third bedroom. He's rummaging through the desk right now.
He just found a level 2 vest.
You know what I'm saying? Level 2 vest, put it on right now. You know what I'm saying? Like, it is like that. It's crazy.
He's discarding his level 1 vest now. It's in the right corner.
He's chewing spearmint gum.
Oh, damn, that's too much.
Yes, but
yeah, I agree. There's a lot of factors that go into these things. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, I think it's funny. There are different advantages. I just think that like a aiming advantage is probably the biggest one. And so I hope that they just give us the option. That's all I'm saying.
Crap,
like,
I don't care. You have an elite control. You're cheating.
Well, you know what? I do just as good or just as bad, depending on the game, with the elite controller or the other controller, because I still sometimes use. I paid good money for that Sea of Thieves controller, and I get my money's worth. So I will use that one sometime, and and I do just about the same. So to me, it's I think that's a moot point. But whereas mouse and keyboard, you get, especially in a game like a shooter, that's a problem. That's a problem. And so that's something that I'm not really looking forward to. Hey, can we get the 200 likes, guys? I know we got like almost 500 watching. So please hit the like button, share it out. Let's do all that good stuff. Let's talk some more gaming. We are exactly about an hour into the show. Actually, an hour into the show, and we've only covered 2 topics. Very, very
150 active users right now.
Yes, 150 active users. So anyway, this other topic, Quantic Dream, who did Detroit Become Human, they are going multi-platform. It seems like sort of what goes around comes around. A lot of people were making fun of Remedy when they went multi-platform. Remedy, same situation, really. They do quality games, but they don't exactly blow up the charts. You look at Detroit, which was one of my favorite games last year. and less than 3 million sold on however million their PlayStations are, what, 90 million or whatever. That's a piss poor, especially for a game that good. So anyway, the developers actually are joining. They now have funding from another company. They're expanding their studio to 300 developers. Wow, that's crazy. And they're really the most surprising thing is the fact that they are actually teaming up with NetEase, right? And I think that that's going to be interesting because they're going to be funding their games and things like that. And they mentioned specifically that they're going to be making multi-platform titles, and I look forward to seeing what they can do on the platform, on my favorite platform. Not that I think Sony owns the Detroit IP, so it'll be interesting to see exactly what we get on Xbox down the road. But it's just like that team that did Until Dawn, Foxy's favorite game. It's going to be fun to see
you're
what
so
they
lucky
come up
I was
with.
on mute. Anyway.
Mooch, what do you think, man? Big news. Megaton?
Not Megaton. I think it's
interesting.
It's interesting, and it's like but it's becoming more par for the course, right? Crap. If it's not a Sony or Microsoft owned company, these guys want to go out there and sell their IP on multiple platforms. So it was a Megaton years ago. Now it's becoming more like, as Don would say, a Tuesday. Because it is. You said it yourself. I mean, Remedy going multi-plat, this company doing that. I believe the same folks that made, and correct me if I'm wrong, maybe it wasn't the Order 1866, but that company's going multi-plat.
Insomniac did that too.
Right? Insomniac did it as well. It's a lot of these companies that we thought were kind of ball and chained to the particular platform from last generation are now breaking off and becoming independent. It doesn't mean that they still won't do long-term contracts with company A or company B, but they are independent. And like I said, I was actually happy to see this because I think it allows them to sell more of their IP on multiple platforms. But the shock factor is kind of wearing off on this stuff because I think look at Bungie, okay? Bungie was with Xbox. They broke off. Then they were with Activision. They broke off. Now they were very happy to be like, hashtag Independence Day. I think they played the Bill Pullman skit on their first tweet. We will not go quietly into the night. They did the whole thing. So, I mean, realistically, I think all these devs, like, look at Don. Don loves being independent, although he wouldn't mind a Microsoft check.
Yeah, that's the thing. It's like, I like the independency because I can do whatever I want. So I'm not holding to anyone, so I can experiment with ideas and things like that maybe get shut down by a publisher. But it's on my shoulders to be able to produce something at such a level. So when I do bring on a publisher, they're like, oh shit, we're not going to say no to that. Right. That's the idea. But at the same token, it's a little bit harder to pay my own bill. That's why I don't have a bunch of different employees or anything like that. It's all coming out of my own personal savings to make this happen. So, that's kind of, it's a double-edged sword when it comes to independence, because I think certain developers get frustrated because certain ideas always get shut down because of somebody marketing or somebody else. And you be honest with those people, they're not necessarily wrong sometimes. They just don't see the vision of what else can be out there. So this doesn't surprise me. There's certain studios that want to be independent. There's certain studios that want to be under an umbrella. There's certain studios that want to do partnerships with other studios. So every studio is not exactly the same as far as like the culture and what they do and what they want to aspire to do. So,
well, and shout out to what Don's saying right there. I got to give him credit, but look at the other side of the coin. Let's look at Ninja Theory. Ninja Theory's been out there walking the line, right? Mm-hmm. And they've had times where they've been fat and happy, and then recently, they've been fat and happy. But there was times in their story they told on Twitter and YouTube where they were like, we were out there and we were starving and we had to let people go, and now they're happy to be under the umbrella of Microsoft. So really is right. It is a different story.
But they earn that spot though, right? Like very similar in a similar way to what I'm describing about myself is they produced a kick-ass product under a really low budget. That shows their pure talent, and they're going to be picked up by somebody. But the question is, you had to be the right partner in that situation because not all publishers are a good relationship with all developers, right?
No, the reason I question that statement, though, is you have someone like Insomniac who's put out nothing but smash hit after smash hit, and they still elect to be independent.
Well, hold on.
So it doesn't mean just because you have a smash hit that you want to fall under the umbrella. Like I said, it depends on the
little bit different.
Everyone's different, right?
Yeah, exactly. Everyone's different. But the thing is, they like that partnership, is what you're seeing, because Microsoft was very clear. They gave me full independence.
Don, let's say instead of just you, let's say me and you were, 50-50 on ownership of the game going out that you're making. And let's say this game is a huge success, but the one you made prior was not. And we went through 8 years of just awful, like, going home and being like, listen, we're dipping into our savings and blah, blah, blah. All of a sudden we hit it big with this next game. And all of a sudden you have another game and our families all get together and we're like, well, why don't we're on a hot streak right now. Let's do another one all by ourselves. I think we would sit down and be like, wait a minute. We got a lot of zeros coming in from Microsoft or Sony. Maybe we should go with them because I don't want to go back to the first game and how it was with that one that didn't sell well. So like I said, depending on what's happening, Insomniac is so big right now. They've made so many games that they have that power and that clout to be like, we're going to stay independent. But like Ninja Theory remembers they had such great glory with this last game, but they remember the hard times. And you can see in their faces when they told that story that the hard times are more relevant to them than the good times they're living right now. And I think that's why when they were like, Microsoft's going to give us our own studio, all the resources we need, hire if we need to, and we get to keep our creative independence. Let's sign this deal. And that's where I think you see they went with that. And I don't blame them one bit.
Well, I mean, that's where it comes down to. You can add a bunch of, for example, every publisher could have came to Ninja Theory with the same amount of zeros, right?
Yes.
And some of those publishers are going to get turned down. Simple as that. Some they'll give them the time of day. So it's about how you sweeten the pot, right? Like how are you
sweeten that pot, baby? That's what I'm talking about.
It's how
some candy in there.
How easy you're going to work with. Are you going to? Do you bring other things to the table that other publishers?
Well, I'll tell you right now, Microsoft's sweetness, their sugar to the pot, if you will, was you could be as creative as you want, and we will not mess with your creativity or your timeline. And that's really where you sit there as an independent and you're like, wait a minute. They're giving us all the major check marks that we want as an independent. The only difference is now is we fall under their umbrella. I mean, they literally gave them everything they wanted. I mean, we don't know all the real small print, but I'm saying, like, realistically speaking, Microsoft's not stepping in there and going, Ninja Theory, great work. Now make this. They're not doing that. They're like, you create what you want. We're not giving you a timetable. We have plenty of new studios, so you can take your time. By the way, don't take over 7 years. But right, but they basically hit every independence check mark, but they still have to fall under the corporate logo of Microsoft. And for them, it worked out great. For some, it wouldn't.
So a lot of times, technology, like your network, that sort of stuff, like because you can offer all the same things if you're 2K, but they don't have the network that Microsoft does, right? As far as servers and as far as all that sort of stuff. So if they're doing an online game, then yeah, you're going to look at that. You're going to take that into consideration when you sign up with anybody or whatever your aspirations are going forward. So there's always more to it than just the dollar amount in regards to that. So
I agree.
I was looking up because you said Quantic Dreams, right? They're the ones that are doing this. For a second,
yes.
I thought, didn't they announce show off a trailer and already announced this before? But no, I was mistaken because that was a Supermassive Games. Like you mentioned, they did Until Dawn. So they're doing a different game that is going multi-plat for the Xbox as well. So that's what I was looking up because I was a little bit confused on that. So I mean, I think that's great. You got two different studios bringing that single-player narrative stuff that has like some deep storyline. I think the Until Dawn game is going to be another scary game as well. I really want to get Detroit on the PlayStation. I still haven't picked it up, Crappy. Sorry, I told you to get it. I want to get it. I just I haven't gotten time. But I really want to pick it up because I enjoyed playing Beyond Two Souls.
Souls.
Oh well,
Yeah.
I started it even though I didn't finish it. Like I liked what I played of it.
That one was
So-
okay. For
It
me,
was better than
okay.
Heavy Rain.
Yeah,
I'll tell you that
Heavy Rain is balls.
Yeah, I
but,
don't like that one at all.
Beyond
But-
Two Souls was okay. I just didn't like. They fixed it later on because what happened was when it originally came out, it jumped around in the timeline.
Yeah.
So you're
yeah.
like, what the hell's going on? Then they fixed it where you can just play it linear, and
Yeah.
it's much, much better. I don't know who the hell decided to, hey, let's jump all around, but yeah, like the linear way was much better to play through that game. And Detroit, oh my gosh, I just was gushing about that game. I loved it. Probably had the best story outside of Red Dead 2. And Arthur, come here. I got something for you to do. We gotta rob a stagecoach, Arthur. You know, like
not
that's
bad, crap.
I know, right? Yeah,
Just
dude.
been practicing.
Yes. You're not the only one that can scream Arthur Mooch. So yeah.
Yeah, I think this
I-
is awesome. I think this is awesome. I'm looking forward to it. I want to see what they do.
Exactly. I love that damn game. I want to talk about games with gold. And I laugh a little bit because it's funny. Bloodstained, Curse of the Moon, Bomberman R, Assassin's Creed Rogue, and Star Wars Jedi Academy. So one of the games doesn't even have achievements, and it's an original Xbox game. So wow,
But it's Star Wars, Crappy.
I
I love
was-
Star Wars.
I was-
I already have that
surprised.
game though.
I was surprised at how many people were like, "Dude, not a bad month." I'm like, are you wearing a pirate patch? I mean,
Oh
come
dang!
on.
Well,
Fox
before
was one of
be-
them.
Before
Fox, like,
I go,
looks great.
I'll defend myself real quick over
Please
here.
do.
I'll
I
go
have-
in after you. Go
I
ahead.
don't have any of those games. I
Okay.
haven't played them. I don't know that much about
There's
them.
about 8,000 shitty games at GameStop you don't own either.
Oh, dang. Oh, dang.
Come on, Fox.
Don't talk to me about garbage
Good.
stuff, sir. I don't go there.
Oh.
He plays Fallout 76, so that's all we need to know.
Oh,
Yeah, which is fixed right now. And
damn.
the great Jez Gordon is playing that as well. I will take note.
the great.
Yes.
I think
Gordon.
out of all
Yes.
these, was it Bloodstained? Because it's like Castlevania kind of game. I want to try that one the most. Everything else, I don't mind trying and having in the backlog. But I don't think it's bad because I haven't tried those, so I'm okay with it.
No, I mean, here's the thing, right? Assassin's Creed Rogue is a good game. If you like Assassin's Creed Black Flag, it's basically a sequel to Black Flag.
Black Flag is the one I like out of all of them. Yeah.
Exactly. So that is a good game. The problem is they remastered that on the Xbox One, and I think it's 4K and stuff. So I don't know. I
with
would.
the Ezio collection.
Yeah. Well, yeah. And so I would recommend that one over it, but. That one's not bad. I realistically don't really have much of a, and I already own that Jedi one. For me, I guess the fact that they're adding original Xbox ones in, games in means that they're running out of 360 ones. I think. I don't know.
Yeah, I think this month was good, and I do videos on these, and I'll go in on.
They've had
Microsoft
worse,
if
but
I
the
feel
Xbox
like they
One-
deserve
This
it,
is
right?
true.
But Salty, the Xbox One games are just like the arcade games again. I think that's.
I mean, the indie game Bloodstained, Curse of the Moon. I don't know if you know who Donkey is. He's a very popular YouTube dude. He's fucking
Never heard
hilarious.
of him.
He did his his favorite games from 2018, and he showed off this game, and it has a lot going for it. And it's weird because I put a poll out there. Do people give a shit about indie games, or do indie games matter? And it was like overwhelmingly that people do care about them. But like once these games with gold comes out, oh my God, you know what I'm saying? People are just in my comment section like, oh, here we go again. It's just this. It's like, it's just come on, guys. I mean, if it's not your bag, it's not your bag. But at the same point, there's a lot to be had in these games.
Yeah, but Salty, what happens?
16-bit, 32. What's up?
What happens when it's not your bag for 13 months in a row? I mean, I get what you're saying, right? Like, I get what you're saying, and Salt's not wrong in that. I really do. He's saying basically, let's not look at a gem you may not have. There's gems that hide underneath lumps of coal. You just got to crush them long enough. So I get it, but at the same time, it's just every month is pretty much is that same thing, and it's like what I'm saying is this, right? It's all business. It's business. So why don't we do this? Cut the nonsense. Stop with the 4 games. Go to 2 games. Make only one decent. I'm not asking for crazy. One decent, one okay. Done.
Yeah,
now, right.
I've been on that train for a while. I think that would be beneficial because we don't need 4 games. We need 2 quality games.
Yes.
But at the same time, Mooch, you know that it's all objective, right? Or it's people are gonna, if they're gonna come at this and say, even if they came out with what they thought to be really good offerings for those two games,
right?
People will hate them. It just depends on what you like or dislike.
Exactly.
You know?
But then I would be more. Let's put it this way, Salt. Let's say 2 games came out instead of 4, and one was okay, just okay, but a good AAA. And you go, look, Mooch, I told you. Look at my comment section, just as salty. I would say, you know what? That's a them problem, because you know what? There's always going to be that nonsense that goes on when you ask the public. That's why I don't understand comment sections. That's like the next time you're at the mall and you buy a pair of jeans, walk out, and when you walk out, take it out of the bag and ask the guy walking by, you think these look good on me? Nobody gives a shit what that guy thinks. Okay, so I don't understand that. But my point being is, like, if they give us a quality, right? If somebody gave you a quality product, and then there's still somebody complaining, that's a them problem. They at least did their due diligence. Here, I don't think they're doing their due diligence for what you're putting in for.
The thing is with this whole subjective point of view and preference in video games, you can go one side of the coin. Hey, we lower it to 2, and we have a higher chance of getting better games. So that at the same time, if you have 4 games, there's a better chance that someone's going to like one of those games because they have more games to choose from. And then
that's the old shots on goal tactic. I get that.
The point that I'm trying to make for this offering is they're not just pulling indie games out of their asses.
No.
This is Bloodstained Curse of the Moon, is a really highly touted indie game that's up there for awards. And like I said, popular gamers love this game. We had Celeste in there. Like they're quality games.
Celeste.
Well, hold on, Salt. Now, thank you for taking.
I don't like it.
I'd like to call Salty to the stand.
I don't like it.
We both played Celeste.
It's garbage to me.
It's terrible.
It's garbage.
I understand it's game of the year for certain people. but I mean, don't get me wrong. And I'm not saying but that's my thing is like, it's you have to appeal to the masses in at least one of the 4. And what you're saying, which I get, okay, and I get it because we've been doing this for so long, is don't knock it till you try it. But my thing about it is that, like, a casual gamer who's paying $60 a year for this service and says, okay, now you're giving me these games, they're going to look at those and they're just going to think they're bad. I'm not saying they're bad, but that's the general consensus. And if me and you were in business, I would at least want one of those things. Like if Baskin Robbins decided out of their 31 flavors, they're like, on Thursdays, we can't, like tomorrow, we cannot do 31 flavors tomorrow. And we're only doing 3. One's got to be one of the favorites, okay? You can't just have all 3 flavors be crazy. And every month, it seems like they give us these crazy things that nobody wants. Give us one, and then put the artsy stuff in there, and then let us try those out for fun.
So my argument for this, my argument for this month is Star Wars has been mismanaged so badly,
right,
that this offering is better than anything that's been put out by EA.
That's a good point.
In the last 10 years or whatever.
Can't argue with that.
Had it right.
Star Wars fart is better.
Yeah,
than
anything,
EA.
right?
I mean, God.
I'm a Star Wars fan. I love Star Wars. I've said it all over the place. This game is beloved by Star Wars fans.
It's great. It is. It is.
Really it's an original Xbox title, and on the record, I thought Xbox was just gonna keep the old OG Xbox titles and let people pay for them, because let's be honest, not a lot of people still have their discs unless you're a hardcore collector.
I agree.
And that's an opportunity for them to make $20 a pop off of these, or whatever, $15, $20 a pop. And the fact that they're coming out with the OG titles, I think that's really good for the fans, some of the hardcore fans, because maybe they don't want to drop $20 on an old ass OG Xbox game.
Yep.
But if you offer it, they can go back in there and have some nostalgia. So that's what really pulled me in, is Bloodstained Curse of the Moon and Star Wars. I think those are both phenomenal. You could say what you want about them, but I think that puts this over a lot of offerings for games with gold. So
you think they'll just get rid of games with gold and just go straight Game Pass?
I mean, if they did that, it's kind of Game Pass and Xbox Live Games with Gold. Games with Gold is supposed to give you value for your subscription, right, to their online service.
Yep.
And and then Game Pass is different. Like that's their another subscription service. So if they cut out Games with Gold, like what are you giving to your consumer base? You know.
Yeah,
I don't know what they can do
on that. I'll say this much. I agree with what Salt's saying, but if you want to sweeten the pot and make this a real great deal, it's a bit of double dipping for all of us, but who cares? It's better for the consumer. I would say you take this was my thought I said on Twitter. If they ever go from 4 games to 2, okay, you do the 2 games, so you give the consumer that only has Xbox Live the better games instead of doing 4. And then what you do to really sweeten the pot is you make sure that the 2 games that are always on go into the rotation of Game Pass. So realistically speaking, let's be honest, you're also doing due diligence and helping. Don, help me out if I'm wrong here, but that also helps the developer. You know, because the developer's making a deal for every time that thing's downloaded, it gets some sort of revenue, gets some kind of money.
I don't know how their business model is. I don't know if it's an upfront lump sum.
No, it could be upfront or it could be per click, whatever. That's a them problem. But what I'm saying to you is, as far as us, I wouldn't mind if it went to 2 games to still give, like Salt saying, the Xbox Live consumer a prep up for them subscribing, but at the same time gives the Game Pass folks something, because you go, wow, you know what? I don't, I got Game Pass. It's going to go in there. I'll play it later. Maybe I won't even, because there's a lot of times, guys, let's be honest, in the 29 days you have to click on that, sometimes you don't. And it's because, let's say the 4 games, like for me, for example, I'll use myself. Those 4 games don't meet my fancy. I don't care. It's not my bag. Baby.
Yes.
But at the same time, I got to be honest with you. Maybe like Salt's saying, maybe all of a sudden I go, you know what? This generation sucked on Star Wars games. Let me check that out. All of a sudden I find out it's the 31st day. I'm screwed. Okay, great. Right? But I have Game Pass, so I can go get it in there. So why not double dip and let your customers enjoy it? You're paying for it anyways. And believe me when I say it, the developer would be more than happy to be in Game Pass as well. So it is what it is. I think that's something for debate, but I don't think you could pull it from Xbox Live Games with Gold, because that's a service strictly for those folks.
Yeah, you have to have it, but it's pretty obvious. And I remember, shout out, Hud Zero. He says, I had mentioned the Twitter, people say that Games with Gold section is blah, but what AAA game would you want? No one mentions what is better. That's a good point. But speaking of what's better, PlayStation Plus games are announced. The entire Hitman complete first season, which is amazing, and For Honor, which we did get on Xbox as well, but 2 AAA games.
Yeah, well, that For Honor was on Xbox, like you just said,
yeah.
crap. But yeah, like for example, I'll be kicking on my PlayStation to go pick up the Hitman series. Will I play Hitman? Probably not. But that's something where I agree with what Salt was saying about the indie titles. I say for that. That's a if you want to say AA game, I guess you could, but I think it's a AAA game, Hitman. I'll grab that, put that in my portfolio, and then whether I want to play it or not, that's up to my discretion.
Yeah.
But, I went ahead and did that with Celeste, and I got news for you. I think anybody that commits any kind of small crime should be sentenced to play that game.
Yeah.
Yeah. I would say that and that's me coming from the 8-bit era. That game is one of the most boringest games I've ever played. And that's a me problem, I guess, because there's a lot of people think that's noteworthy of game of the year. Personally, I think like that.
Dude, I would love to know what kind of drug people are on that consider that to be in the running for game of the year. I can tell you right now.
I'd rather play Super Meat Boy.
I would rather smash my nuts with a hammer. That sounds like a better game to me.
Yeah.
To be honest with you, Celeste.
Sounds like a party.
Yeah, exactly. Party. And I got to be honest, Celeste. What the hell? I get the nostalgia thing and people like that kind of thing, but I like those 8-bit games better when I played them 30 years ago. You know what I mean? For the most part, and just the way that people were acting with this game. Mooch, didn't you just expect that game to be much better or something different?
Which game?
To the Celeste.
Oh, I did. I thought it was going to be kind of like, and Salt did a great review on it. Dead Cells. Dead Cells is a great game.
Yeah.
And I thought it was going to be, when I saw Celeste being nominated for Game of the Year, I'm like, wow. I'm thinking it's like, I didn't think it was like Dead Cells with the Dark Souls thing. No, I didn't think it was. I just thought it was going to be that caliber of quality.
Yeah.
And it really wasn't. I mean, I have no idea what people saw in that. It's I don't know. I'm kind of speechless on it. I played it. I played the first or second chapter through, and I was like, this is the epitome of terrible. So I don't know what the hype was about. Maybe someone can enlighten me when you get to like the chapter, chapter 7 or chapter 8, something magical happens. I have no idea.
Like magical, like it turns into a good game?
Yes. Yes, that was when the developers came together and worked together. Yes.
Yes, like because to me that would be the magical thing. Hey, here's it's actually turned into a good game. Abracadabra.
Did anybody
you know what I mean?
Did anybody play this besides me and Salt?
No, I didn't touch it.
I played it for a few minutes and was like, this is probably one of the worst things I have ever played in my life. So yeah, like
it's one of those games that
I can look at people play it and I can be like, this isn't for me. So I didn't.
It's not for a lot of people, to be honest with you. I don't get it. I don't get it. Also, PlayStation Plus expanded to 100 gigabytes of cloud storage as well.
What was it at currently? Crap.
I don't know what it was at, but I think it was it was at a pretty low amount. But as you guys also know, Sony is ending PlayStation Plus games for PS3 and the Vita. So them getting Hitman and For Honor, that's 2 AAAs, man. Like their game, they're sticking it to Microsoft. They're sticking it to them. I'm telling you.
Yeah.
So like, what do you guys think?
They did what we just said. Crap. That they got rid of the 4, and they're doing 2 better ones. Now let's look at a larger sample than 1 month. So let's see 6 months. Let's see 12 months, because they've had PS Plus. This is my thing. And this is why I feel like it's okay to complain that Microsoft's doing this, is because they've done it for like 13 months. And Sony has their stinkers, right? They have a couple of months where it's the same thing. Indie games you've never heard of, this, that, whatever. Maybe it's a gem to some people, that's fine. But they do 1 downer and then they have like 3 up. And they have 1 downer, then 3 up. Where Microsoft seems to have 3 or 4 downers and 1 up. And it's like, that's the wrong kind of roller coaster you want to be on,
Yeah, I agree 100%. What do you guys think about like the PlayStation games? Any takers there? No? Yeah.
No, I haven't downloaded. I don't even have PS Plus anymore, so
mine's only there like Netflix sometimes, right? It's just there. It renews like for some sucker reason. It renews every 3 months, and I don't even play online on PlayStation. And I did that year in review on PlayStation, and I had more time on PUBG alone on Xbox than all the whole year of PlayStation. I had more time on Sea of Thieves on Xbox than all year on PlayStation. So, I mean, that goes to show you how much time I spend on PlayStation, yet I continue. I don't even download the games most of the time that are free on there. So, because a lot of them are third party, and why would I play worse versions of those games on PlayStation where I have no friends and the controller sucks and the batteries die all the time, right? So, that's just my own personal thing, So that's a me problem, Mooch.
It is
me problem. Yes.
So
yeah. Here, let's talk about Xbox. Well, let's see. We can talk about this. Microsoft caught, quote unquote, paying popular Twitch streamers to play Sea of Thieves. Mooch, I know you're going to have some interesting things to say about this. What do you think?
Well, my question to you is, did they?
Well, we don't really have confirmation of this or not. You know what I mean?
I know. I saw
the way you answered that was like a politician. We don't have confirmation, so we don't have
no collusion.
There's no collusion.
Yeah, metalhead's right. Bullshit.
Is it like I don't know, because I was looking for Mike's comment and I couldn't find it on Twitter.
Oh shit!
Yeah, I've seen it. As far as all that stuff goes,
I saw it too. Yeah.
Oh, did you?
Yeah,
I saw Mike's comment. I mean,
it still raises the question: Did it happen?
Well, there's something that we should. A lot of people forget.
Aliens exist. I mean,
who built the pyramids? There's third party marketing though. Salt. We went through about 3-4 years ago. There was a lot of this stuff. It didn't go through on. It wasn't streaming issue, but it was people doing reviews. And there was this big conglomerate thing going on, and same ruckus that went on this week about this. About people on YouTube doing reviews about a game, and they were getting paid, and the companies came out and were like, we're not paying them. And the truth of the matter was the Microsoft and Sony's are not paying them. However, companies that Microsoft pays or Sony pays to do advertising were paying them. So it's kind of a loophole.
Like the Kevin Bacon thing. Couple degrees.
It is. Now, is that the case in this? I don't know. I'm not saying I do know. I don't know. But all I'm saying is that it wouldn't surprise me that some people got something. Because the game's a year old. It wasn't like any DLC came through in the past week where everyone's like, I gotta get in on it.
Nah,
right?
but
so like, why all of a sudden you went from a guy that would never touch the game to 6 guys that are playing Fortnite steadily and are playing Fortnite? Okay, on the biggest night of all time on New Year's Eve in Times Square, switch over to play, Sea of Thieves and blast cannonballs at their friends. There is question there. There is
the way it happened. What was his name? Summit 1G or whatever his name is. He got on there, and that was by his choice. No one was spitting this narrative out there at that time. He started pulling in crazy numbers that he didn't see, because people were saying it. I think it was Shady or someone came at me and said, "Hey, Summit goes and streams and hits these numbers even if he's playing solitaire," and that's not the case. He came out and tweeted, "Hey, we're hitting record numbers, blah blah blah." So it's like these streamers, they see what's hot and what's not, and they all like flock together. You know what I'm saying? They're like seagulls. Oh, hey, this is getting numbers. Let's go. And then it's kind of a popularity thing. It doesn't matter what game it is. They'll stream whatever they need to stream to pull the numbers, and it's just it's the way it goes, right?
It's like a similar thing with like Ninja, like when he got popular with whatever Fortnite. So I mean, it's the same thing. Like no one ever really heard of him for the most part, and then also it just made him blow up.
Exactly. So it's funny to me because like, why wouldn't Microsoft do this at launch? You know what I'm saying? Like, why wouldn't they pay streamers to do this at launch and get momentum building as opposed to some random ass? Like, what benefits Microsoft to do this at the time that they did it? It was in the middle of like some content update. Why wouldn't they wait until this PvP update comes out? That would have been a better time to pay these streamers. This argument doesn't hold any water to me, and it can get destroyed in 2 seconds because there's no proof, there's no facts, no one's come out. I mean, that it just gets destroyed. And then when I see it in my comment section, and people are saying, "Oh, yeah," and people are getting paid and blah blah blah, and I'm like, show me the proof. Or I mean, I
agree. I agree. Like here's the thing: and that's a big if they're doing it, you have to disclose it because that's the FCC rules, right?
Yes.
But if there's nothing there, then there's nothing there because Microsoft will definitely 100% have to follow those rules, right? So when there was that Shadow of War issue with PewDiePie, remember? Yeah. Because he put it in his description or whatever. You have to do that now, right? When you get a lot of times, like when you get a review copy of a game, you have to put or say that you got a review copy of the game. So you guys have to keep that in mind as well. Here's the thing. I think people dislike Sea of Thieves so much, or like the hate is perceived so much that they see this game doing so well, and now they're looking for any excuse they can to kind of disrespect the game and kind of go, well, that's got to be it. Remember when they did Inside Xbox in Mexico and the crowd was cheering for everything and everybody's like, they're paying them. Like, come on.
No,
get real.
I do got to say, though, I mean, you got to look at it from both. I think you and Salt make a really good point. I don't think that there's any kind of issue there at all. But at the same time, the game hasn't changed. And to go back to Don's point about Ninja, Fortnite was doing okay on streaming, and it was the time that Drake hit Ninja up on Twitter and was like, "Hey, you want to play?" And then Drake, who has like millions upon millions of followers, got all the people to watch the game, and the game became an overnight sensation because pop culture picked up on it, and that was awesome. Like, so you got to kind of give Drake the credit there. And like the point of the matter is that like when you get down to it and you're talking about this game just became, it's like, okay, so you have the 3 or 4 biggest people on Twitch all of a sudden switch over to this game. And, I don't know if you, Salty was saying it was Shady or whoever, somebody was saying, well, if they were playing, Solitaire, they would watch that to a certain degree. Okay. Would it last for 2 weeks, 3 weeks? No. But for 2-3 days, if there was 4 or 5 people playing Full House Poker and they were laughing and having fun, people would watch them because those people are entertaining. And so you do have to understand that by getting these people these people on Twitch are like NBC, ABC, CBS. People are going to their channel no matter what's on. So they're going there, and Microsoft and Sony know that. So do we have proof? Absolutely not. None. 0.0. So it's all conspiracy theory stuff. But realistically speaking, the game really hasn't changed enough to make that much of a splash. It's the same game it really was. And because if you watch the streams, they're not even doing anything. They're laughing and they're jumping off the boat.
That's why it's perfect for streaming, though. It's like people come there for the content creator, right?
That's true.
The entertainer.
Yes, yes. But do you see my point where those channels are now the NBC, CBS, and ABC? Like people are going there no matter what. Yeah, that too. But I'm saying that's realistically why they go there, because myself personally, I told you, I've taken a recent listen, I've been watching YouTube for 5 years. So I'm like, at the end of the night and I'm done playing, I'm like, what should I do? I'm like, let me see what the big time streamers are up to. Like I've made that something I check out. Do I check it out for hours upon hours? No, it's about 20 minutes. But I check it out because I want to see what they're up to and what those channels are up to. So the fact of the matter that one does it, hits this big stream, and then it's one you when people throw that conspiracy theory out there, all I'm saying is that I agree with Salty. There's no facts, but there's no proof. But it is something that it's a discussion piece. It's definitely a discussion piece. Because I don't think it's Microsoft or Sony. I think it's possibly a third-party marketing company.
Yeah, I've watched some of these streamers talk specifically on some of the games that they'd like to play, and this is like popular streamers. Even Ninja.
I like Sea of Thieves. I'm playing it more than I did when it came out. And I agree with you, Salt.
Ninja admitted there was a point where he hated playing Fortnite, but he has to play Fortnite. I mean, it's not like he's above playing a certain game. That's what he's known for. It's not like he can switch permanently to something else. Eventually, he has to go back to his bread,
That's right.
And then there's a Gathalion wanted to play Sea of Thieves, and it didn't have the content there. He's playing that. It's just these dudes are following trends, man. And that's just what it is. Like if you look at Twitch right now, Sea of Thieves is like what 1, 2. It's still in the top 15. Still has 12,000 people watching it. It's not 1 or 2, but the boost that it got from these streamers is significant. Because it was on the bottom, man. It was way down there a couple months ago.
I mean, let's also look at the metrics here, and I don't have them in front of me, but I'll play the low side of the coin. I mean, it was only really getting those big numbers for about a week. And it's like, so you might go, well, I mean, when you want to be one with the League of Legends or the Fortnites or the Call of Duties, you got to do months. That's with a couple of S's on the end, right? I
don't think that they've ever thought the game was going to be up there. I think they just want it to be relevant. I mean, I think they will never be competing on that level with CODs and Fortnites and stuff like that. But if you could remain in the top 20 on Twitch and Mixer, I think that Microsoft and Rare take that any day of the week. You know what I'm saying?
True.
They just wanted to get it popular before they come out with that new DLC.
I think Arena will help a lot more.
I think so too. Hey, we're closing in on 200 likes. Please hit the like button, guys. Show some love, share it out, all that kind of good stuff. I really would appreciate it. Speaking of that, Phil Spencer said Xbox is going big at E3 this year. He said they discussed maybe going low or not spending a lot of money. Obviously, Sony's not there. Nintendo only does it direct. By all rights, Microsoft could have just done something stupid or something low key, right? But nope, they're going all out. And he also said something pretty incredible. He said that he mentioned Rare's new IP in addition to continuing to work on Sea of Thieves. And he mentioned Playground Games, obviously Fable 4, from everything we've heard. What do you think, Mooch? Going big at E3, not holding back, new Rare IP and Fable stuff. Do you think we could get a back-to-back-to-back new Rare IP, Fable 4, Ninja Theory back-to-back reveal this year?
I think you're going to see stuff that you kind of want, Crap. I will say this much. I got to say, now that the competition isn't there, Phil's interpretation of the word big might mean something different than it did in the past. And what I mean by that, right, is Walmart. Let me give you guys an example. Walmart has knocked out the majority of their competition. So when someone comes up to me and goes, dude, you got to go over and see this. Walmart's got this product for sale, and it's a great price. And I'm like, how the fuck do you know it's a great price? Like, there's nothing to compare it against. There's Walmart, Target, and Amazon. They all match each other. They might all be making 150% profit on it. You know what I mean? Like, we don't know. So when Phil's like, we're gonna have a big show, that might just be like 3x times Inside Xbox, which is like devastating. So my point is that with Sony not there, now it's like the words mean less. So now I'm not saying I think it's gonna be a great show, but they got to put on a great show, and they got to prove it with the actual show, not this nonsense. Well, look, we're doing a big show. My point is like, crap, they don't have any. There's nothing to compare them against anymore.
Here's the thing, Mooch. Right? This is like, I get what you're saying. Yes, there's nothing to compare them, but this is the year where Microsoft literally, and we say this sometimes, right? But the realistic idea is that they didn't have to show much the last couple of years, right? Like this year is something a little bit different, where we haven't had a new game and a new IP announcement since 2015. Right. We're in 2019. You are within 18 months of releasing stuff because you're within 18 months of new hardware. So you've got to have some game announcements to announce, and you've got to show some stuff off. So it's going to be more than just Gears of War.
But are they going to show the new hardware?
I don't know. Hell no. They're not going to show new hardware. No.
So I don't know if they're going to show the new game then.
Well, here's the thing. We saw Watch Dogs back in 2000, back before hardware had been announced. We saw Star Wars 1313 almost certainly
all
running
third
on.
Party. But
yeah, I get that. We also saw, we've seen different things. Look, you think that Halo stuff was running on? I don't know. Like, to me,
I know we didn't see any Xbox One games before the Xbox One was announced. So I don't necessarily know that you're going to get what you guys are hoping for with that. I think you're going to see a really stupendous Inside Xbox.
Did you guys listen to the podcast he did with Major Nelson?
Yeah, that's what this
coming from.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, I think that you can take this conversation go either way, but I really it irked me that Sony isn't going to be there, because when somebody goes, "Have you been to Walmart? They've got paper towels so cheap," and I'm like, "What are you comparing it against? They knocked their competition out." So my whole thing is like, when he's like, "We're gonna have a big show," against who?
Well, no, I mean,
big against what?
I think they're talking about themselves. So
yeah,
right, exactly. They're talking about themselves. Yes. So, Don, do you see what I'm saying, Don? Do you think they're gonna show like new games? I don't think so.
Yeah, they have to.
I don't think they have to at all. No, they don't.
I think they completely do, because if you really think about it, like the only game
they got next E3 for that.
No,
dude, how are you going to sell people? Oh, go ahead, Don.
Well, they have Gears of War, for example. We know that's
this
year, and we have Crackdown. We're done. We're out. So they have to have, if they do have something, they have to show it at this E3. I think also what you're also going to get in a lot of cases, they are going to talk about hardware, because they're trying to get ahead of rumors and try to control the narrative a little bit better.
That's a good point.
Going forward, and that has been something I've heard throughout Microsoft. So that's the reason why we heard about them working on 2 new pieces of hardware. We heard about the X at the time for that particular reason as well. So, you're going to talk about it, at least. I don't know if they're going to show the hardware or anything like that, but at least they're going to talk about it. They're going to be transparent about it in regards to that. And I think we're going to get another game between now and E3s. I mean, this E3 and the next E3. So, I mean, I think they're going to have to show something. Even if they stay with the 1.5-year plan, they have something they have to show.
Somebody says, don't forget, Ori is supposedly coming out this year.
Yeah, I think
coming out before E3.
So you take Ori. They have Gears 5.
Ori's coming out before
we're going to see We're going to see more of Halo Infinite. There's your 3, and then they're going to have a bunch of indies, and they're going to have a bunch of deals they have with third party. I don't think there's going to be
how are they going to show the same stuff they showed? That's exactly what they showed last year, dude.
That's what they did the year before that, crap.
Exactly, but like I said, you can't literally have the same stuff. You have to show something.
You guys all
ahead.
just listen. I'm using your words, and you're just taking what I'm saying and saying no. I just asked you guys, did we see new games for Xbox One when we were in the 360? No. So what I'm saying to you is,
actually they announced Rise then, but you also
they announced Halo Infinite, and you'll see that. You'll see Halo Infinite. You'll see Gears 5. Right, there's their two of their 3 big ones. Right, you're gonna see Forza. You're gonna see Forza.
You won't see Forza this
year.
year.
You will. You will see Forza. You will see the Forza that's coming out on Xbox One, Scarlet. Yes, you will, because that's coming out next year. So there's your big three.
They're not going to show.
Then you're going to have
Forza this
Ori.
year, though.
Then
They're
you're going
not-
to have Ori.
100%.
Taking,
No
they're
Forza.
taking a break
Let-
on
hear me out.
Forza.
Ori-
Ori's coming out before E3 as well, so they're not going to show that.
No, it's not.
Yeah, it is.
Is there a
March.
release date?
March, April. We have E3
Which
in
month?
the summertime. They haven't given a release date. But
I'm
there's
going to
a
use your
release-
words here, Salt. If it's
No,
not
there's
writing,
a release window, and I guarantee we can make a bet. I mean, if we
No,
live
no,
close
no,
to each
no,
other,
no bet. No
if we
bet.
live close
You
to
say
each
all the
other,
time,
I would be
Salt,
like, let's make a
Salt,
lunch
you
bet.
say to me all the
but
time,
no.
where's your proof? Where's your proof?
There
That's
is
your
no
whole
proof,
thing.
but
There is no
I've heard-
proof. So it's not
It's coming. It's
going to
come out before E3, and I
No.
would bet you.
I don't
would-
think so. I don't
Dude,
think
I
so.
swear.
So they're going to have Ori. They're going to have all that there, right? And then they're going to this is what I'm saying. So I think they have 5 games they're going to show you from their first party, and then you've got your third party and your indies and your
So why-
Minecraft section.
Why would Phil Spencer make it a point to come out and say, "Hey, we're going as big as we've ever gone"? He didn't have
Because
to say
last
that.
year's big wasn't that big.
So in
So
retrospect,
they're going to go as
if
big
you-
as they went last year, and you guys just agreed that last year wasn't that big.
in retrospect, if you look at it, last year was filled with just third-party trailers. You know what I'm saying? Like they had a bunch of marketing deals, and that's pretty much all the conference was. And then they showed Gears 5, which was cool.
Future
You know?
Generations isn't
Ori.
listening to me in the chat. You guys aren't listening to me. I'm saying they'll show Forza 8 that's coming next year.
They
Forza
won't
8
show
is-
Forza
So
next year.
let's make a bet real quick. $60 game. Put your money where your mouth is. Ori's going to come out.
I never bet
Ori's
on
gonna
somebody
come out
else's business.
before E3. Okay.
No, it's not. It's not.
It
Well,
is.
hold on. Last
It's
year
not.
they did the whole thing with the studios and things like that. Last year also, Phil said that we're going to be seeing Ninja Theory's game this year. He also just in this podcast said he looks forward to showing off Playground Games' new games and Rare's new game. So I think right there you have a very interesting and eclectic mix of things. They're going to have stuff to show off.
The
And
other-
also,
That's
oh,
fine.
sorry.
That's fine.
What was
So-
that show before Christmas time that they were
XO.
hopping XO? So they even talked about on XO like how people wanted to see games, and he took note about that as well. So like, there's something going to be shown. To what degree, what quality, what audience it is, I don't know, right? But they're showing something, and
So-
it's not just going to be the main staples. I don't think.
With the new policy by Phil Spencer, not announcing games that are too far out, eventually you have to show something. You talk about stuff at one E3 and all those games come out or whatever, like you're gonna have to talk about new shit. You know what I'm saying? Like with the way it's structured now, it's not like Sony where you say, "Hey,
Well,
4 years ago we announced this
Yeah.
game."
I'm
Talked about
just,
it for
I guess
4 years.
I guess I'm confused because we just said last week on this show and many others that Phil has an 18-month policy, right?
Okay.
So now
Yeah.
we're talking about we're going to show Rare's new game. We're going to show Ninja Theory and Rare's new game are not coming out within 18 months.
Ninja
So-
Theories is.
I don't
Ninja
think
Theory-
so.
I think
we're
Ninja-
doing
I
money
think-
on it, Ninja
podcast.
Theory.
He
I-
went
I
to the
would-
podcast and he basically said in that podcast, he said, "I'm excited to be able to show what we've been working on, and we finally get a chance to unveil what we have been doing, and we can discuss our roadmap."
That's fine. We've been wanting him to do that for a long time, so I hope he does.
Well,
He's
Ninja
also-
Theory was the last year he teased that. He goes, now Ninja Theory's game came out the longest ago, so theirs would be ready sooner. And he also said, we look forward to showing you next year. This was last year, meaning this year,
Right.
what they've been working on. We're excited to do that.
That's fine.
And not only that, you look
fine.
at August 2019, and they come out with a new console, and that's a launch title in 2020. That's well within 18 months and within their range to announce it, because I feel like we're not getting any Forza whatsoever this year. We might get a Forza DLC.
We are not
No.
getting Forza this year.
I don't think they're going to announce it though. I think they're going to show off Forza Horizon DLC this year.
They will.
And I think next year, next E3, I don't even think we're going to get Halo Infinite footage this year. To be honest,
I think
with
you will get Halo Infinite footage.
I
think
don't.
we'll get-
Yes,
I
you
don't
will.
know. I'm not 100% sold on that.
if they're gonna show you what they showed you last year, crap, they're not gonna just completely blank Halo Infinite.
They're gonna build upon it.
I'm
You
going to
got
say they're probably.
Robbie Ensky or whatever his name is there on Twitter is not stop. He's just Halo Infinite to the nth degree because he's there now. Like Halo Infinite will have a presence on the E3 stage.
Wow, yeah, they couldn't have got a SW. Never mind. Well, like the people running these things now.
I know.
Jesus, Microsoft, come
I
on.
know.
Get somebody with some balls. I mean, it's Halo. I heard rumors that they might turn Master Chief.
Listen,
into
I
a
hope you
girl.
guys are right. I the only thing I don't think, and the only reason I say I don't think so, is just because I haven't seen, and I mean, my eyes are on there, my ears are to the ground. I haven't seen anything about Ori. So I don't think Ori would come out before.
Well,
E3.
no, like here's the thing.
You guys are saying I believe
the gameplay from E3 last year, and they've come out with other stuff regarding the game. I think
the one I would say you're not going to hear anything from is Battletoads. That seems to have been quietly shelved or postponed, delayed or whatever.
That's
I
another
really
one
don't
that
give a
crap.
shit about Battletoads.
I'm with you on that. So
I cared about it, you know what I mean? Like I like the original.
That's kind of like Joanna Dark and that shit. I don't give a shit about that either.
Yeah, I don't care about that either.
Trigger anybody you can, but like Perfect Dark, Battletoads, shelf them all, man. I mean, let's do other shit. Like nobody cares.
I care, so I wouldn't say any. Nobody.
Yeah, but I mean, the thing about
the majority don't care, right?
They're gonna take a game like Battletoads and they're gonna make it what? They're gonna spruce it up. It's
here's the thing. Nobody care. A lot of people weren't caring about God of War anymore after Ascension. And then they rebooted it, and then
that's different.
Hey, crap! I remember you saying that if you wanted to go back and play these old games, you go play your Sega or whatever. Like these people that are saying this, if I want to go back and play Battletoads, I'll go plug in.
Well, I mean, if I wanted to play,
you know,
but look, the thing is to getting the chance to play something. Aren't we all like Mooch? You're fucking playing a remake of an old game.
They are not gonna do the RE2 treatment to this.
Dude,
they're not.
How can it not be RE2 when it's an 8-bit game and it's going to be hand drawn and it's totally going to.
I feel like it's going to be.
Yeah, but you're talking about Resident Evil against Battletoads. Who gives a shit about Battletoads?
Is one of the most beloved franchises of all time.
Is it though? I don't know, man. Take a poll on the internet. Like, how many people really care about Battletoads?
I think people are excited for it, and not only that, but you also were mentioning Joanna Dark. I think done right with the reboot, that's their God of War. You've got
there's plenty of other. I would rather them take a risk on anything else with a new IP. Just go off the wall. Like people don't like certain games like Horizon Zero Dawn or whatever, and this and that, and new IPs and this or whatever. But there's certain games that just need to be left in the past. You know what I'm saying? Like it doesn't translate for today's genre.
I agree. Like Conker. Like I always say that Conker would not work in today's climate because he's a foul-mouthed person. You know what I mean? It's not politically correct, quote unquote, right? So like that wouldn't make any sense in today's climate, and I stick by that. There's other ones too. I personally think as a budget or whatever, Battletoads would be fine. Like it's not going to be a big AAA game, but it is something that probably people were looking forward to. Well, I personally bought an Xbox One when I saw Killer Instinct coming, right? And I know that a lot of people might not have felt that way, but to me, that was huge. I mean, that was what sold me on an Xbox One when I heard the combo breaker, and it's that same guy's voice. Like, holy shit! Like a reimagined Killer Instinct. That's what sold me. Exactly, Mooch. Mooch is playing Killer Instinct.
Honestly, who cares about games that you may not personally like as long as you get the games that you like? And that's the thing with a diverse portfolio that Microsoft needs to keep in mind in how they space out their games. That's important too as well. You can't have like a Saturday morning cartoon fest one year and then have the more realistic games all one year. You have to kind of break them up a little bit in regards to that. And I hope Microsoft understands that going forward, because there's a certain segment of Xbox owners I think honestly feel have been left out this last year, and maybe the year before, you can argue. And I can understand where they're coming from, because they're not putting out content that they're looking for. They're putting content for their other customers, but not particular customers. So, and those customers that want the more realistic games, they spend money. They have disposable income. Probably have more disposable income than they have time to play them, to be honest with you. So, like, you gotta address all those sort of things. I mean, I look forward to a Battletoads, but I know people don't. I didn't care for State of Decay, but I didn't make a big deal out of it or anything like that. So, like, I want Microsoft to continue to do diverse games, big, small, and as far as all that stuff's concerned. And I'll be happy as a customer because I'll find what I like in that segment. I mean, even their competition, Sony, I don't like all their first party games. I like some of them, and some of the ones I don't. But as long as you make diverse software instead of maybe say one particular genre and keep repeating that genre, and if that genre only appeals to one particular audience, then that's when you kind of run into an issue with any of the platform providers. So
my problem when it comes to things like Perfect Dark and Battletoads is if it's the game that, like, if Crapgamer was the developer, the game would be fantastic because he really wants that amazing experience to be brought back to 2019. The problem is that's not what Microsoft's doing. It's going to be a AA version of Battletoads, which is going to be like a blah. It's a blah. You know, it's like you know what I mean? It's just gonna be like, who gives a shit? Like,
but there's a lot of games that I don't care about that people do. Like, I mean,
no, it's not about. It's not, Don. You're missing my point. It's not the I don't care about. I liked Battletoads. I put a lot of hours in that as a young gamer. Okay, I love that game. I did. I feel the same way Crap does about that. But what I don't feel the same way is I know that a major developer, okay, is not. That's why Crap's God of War reference doesn't hold water. Is because they're going to give it to company B or C and make it, and then just kind of throw it in the Game Pass, and we're supposed to like it. And it's like, that's not what I don't want to play. A better art drawn version of the 2D scaler of the game I have already on Rare Replay. That's not what I want. I want a new, like, unfathomable world with Battletoads.
Yeah,
and
weapons. You want God of War and Battletoads mixed into one.
Well, but I don't like God of War. But
that would actually be pretty rad, to be honest with you.
It would be amazing. That's what I'm trying to say, and that's not what you're gonna get. So when I hear the Battletoads and the Perfect Darks, I know what I'm gonna get. I'm going to get a 2019 version of Battletoads in Recore mode. So it's like, I don't want that.
No. You're talking about Recore, a game that was severely hampered and like a really low budget. Yeah, like realistically, that game was
that game could have been amazing.
It could have been
a sequel.
I doubt it. Yeah. I doubt it.
Shannon Loftus loved it.
Hey, Axel says, "Hey, Xbox Nation, as an Xbox owner, I would love for Microsoft to release a new IP that turns out to be a banger, and time is running out for this wish to come true." It depends on what you consider. I don't know if they're doing forward compatibility. So all the stuff that they have lined up, Infinite, the Initiative's big game, the Ninja Theory game, all this stuff could be coming out for your quote unquote Xbox One as well. So
I hope they have an extravaganza crap for E3. I really do.
So dude, I hope so too. Like I said, I'm
waiting for a while.
We're not going to get 10 new things.
But I have a feel,
we're gonna definitely get a few new things coming from them, and they've got to. You can't not have announcements for 4 or 5 straight years. You can't do it. It doesn't work that way.
I agree with you.
What makes you guys think that they're not going to show hardware at this E3?
Because I think that it's still too far away, and I think that they're going to wait to see what Sony does.
I thought they were eventually too, but now that I've been looking at it and looking at the history, they're going to have their own big reveal show like they did in May of whatever it was there, 2013. They're going to do the same thing now. They're going to have it in May, and they're going to show it off, and they're going to do this big extravaganza on their own turf. It won't be, because here's the thing, Salt. They only have an hour and a half up there, but an hour and a half, hour, 45 minutes, whatever they extend it to. Okay. They don't have the time to explicitly discuss the hardware the way that they want to pursue it to the audience, and any questions that may pertain when they have software and they have deals with third-party games. So they really need to spend time with the hardware in its own case, in its own show. So I think it's going to get its own show.
Where would they do it at?
Same way they did it in 2013. They'll do it in Redmond at their own show, on their own base.
I can't remember. I thought they brought it out on E3 though.
No, they did. No. They did their own reveal. Remember, it was
that's when they talked about
campus.
Inside Xbox.
It was a huge tent. It was a huge tent they had set up.
What about the Xbox One X? They showed that at E3, right? A year before it's to come out.
They showed the specs basically. To the
like they might mention. Here's what they're going to mention the next Xbox. They're going to mention we have limitless possibilities here at Microsoft. Whether you want to play on your little dinky phone, on your watch, on your PC, and maybe your Xbox. We don't, maybe we're gonna have a couple. Maybe you want to stream it to Zimbabwe.
You can play it on Don's refrigerator.
You can. You've got a new smart toilet that's coming, and you could play it there too. And with Game Pass, you get everything inclusive. Master Chief is now a woman. Marcus Phoenix is now a woman. We've got women with buzz cuts and mohawks running our studios. It's great. We
We'll
love
give you a free
everyone.
Switch.
Buy an Xbox and get a free Switch. Merry Switchmas from your pals at
Get a
Microsoft.
Switch, I'll
right?
sign up.
I mean, come on. Like, and by the way, jokes. Sir X-Man, he says, I want Mech Assault.
Sir X-Men's been
Ritter-
asking for that since 2014. I love it.
Well, they're supposed to be working on some kind of new deal. I'm not really sure exactly, what's going to come about there. But yeah, like that to me, I thought was kind of interesting
That's really
to
funny.
see. Yeah, this is what makes me believe we're not going to get any, and this will probably be the last topic that we can cover. Only 16% of all developers polled at GDC are working on next gen Xbox and PlayStation games, and it looks like the majority of these are first party only. So very interesting. Don, you'd be a good one to know this. I mean, that's a low number, right?
That's typical when you're early on. And I said this a long time, like for the last year or so, people were talking about how the PlayStation 4 dev kits were out there. They weren't.
Yeah.
They are out there now. Just so people know, in regards to that. And I don't think the specs were finalized as far as that stuff goes as well. So we'll see where that lands. I know a lot of the people the circles I run into are saying they want way more RAM than that they're specing in there.
Yeah.
Take that for what it is. That maybe they'll deliver that, maybe they won't. But that's kind of where it's at. And I think certain third parties are being trusted with what kind of getting a rough idea what Xbox is doing. But I keep hearing rumors that Xbox is going to be at GDC in a big way.
Really?
This month. Yeah. So I think they might be prepping. They're expanding the umbrella out to other developers in what they really are doing in regards to that. So we'll see as far as all that stuff goes. I think there's a lot of, as I said this before, there's a lot of fake specs out there. And you're going to see a lot of that between now and GDC, and you're going to see some more solid stuff right around GDC or right after GDC, I would say, as far as the public and leaks and stuff like that. So,
okay, interesting. So we hear from the Don himself. What do you think, man? 16%. And those are a lot of first party stuff. I mean,
Yeah, I mean, like Don says, it holds water.
2020 holiday. Anybody that thought, remember when people were saying we were going to get PS5 this year?
Yeah.
And we're not even going to get a PS4 event this year. We're not even going to get any events from Sony this year.
Yeah, it's clear as day.
I mean,
exactly.
That percentage.
Go ahead.
Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. But that percentage can mean a lot of different things. Because what happens if Epic has a dev kit? That's huge. That engine goes on a lot of games, right? So that spreads out. Or EA has it. EA obviously has got their big engine as well. So I think if you're probably going to see engine providers have those sort of things. Yeah. And first party. And I think that number ends up being bigger than people think because of that.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I think so as well. So
did you guys hear the rumors that the dev kits are for PS5 are with their first party significantly, and they're focusing on that? Their games and stuff.
That was a topic, yeah. So supposedly, and for some reason, Z Tiny is a quote unquote insider now on everything.
Of course, he's been promoted.
Yes,
Z Tiny.
Z Tiny, the pie chart master.
Yes.
So he says that the focus has all switched to the PlayStation 5, which would indicate no forward compatibility on their part.
No,
I guess. And that they basically. What they have set for PS4 is what's set. Plus, we had that Kojima said that Death Stranding is still far away. Yeah, it's not.
The Last of Us 2 shit is bullshit as well.
Yeah, I think that's easily 2020.
Yes.
Easily.
Yeah,
easily.
I still think Last of Us 2 will be PS4, but it'll be 2020. It'll be like May release in 2020.
Exactly.
And then they'll double dip, right? Crap, they'll double dip.
Yep, 100% accurate. And with that, I mean, if you guys wouldn't mind, hit that like button. We just crossed 200 likes. We had a fantastic show tonight. A lot of cool stuff. We missed some topics, I'm sure. Salty will probably cover some on the show tomorrow, and Mooch on Crossfire, which will be cool. That's what's always good about these things is, it's always good. Like there's other stuff I wanted to talk about that we didn't get into, like the Xbox revenue and all that stuff, the Crackdown achievement list, and the embargo lifted, and a lot of stuff. But again, these shows are only so long, and I try to get people out here on time. Please hit the like button, share it out. Mooch, what do you got going on, my friend?
Well, I don't get to do this very often, but I want to do what Crap always does when I'm on his podcast. Everybody in the audience, please do realize that Crap and Salt are still friends. They can have an argument. It's okay. They're friends, right? It's always me in that conversation. It's Mooch and fill in the blank are still friends. So, anyways, great to say that on my end of the microphone for once. But, guys, we have Crossfire, 7 p.m. Eastern Time on the Mooch 78. And then we have M&C show on Crap's channel this Sunday, 11 a.m. It's going to be a great show. Lots of new stuff coming, and do check out Crap. Crap should have the Patreon down in his description. Do please.
It is. We've got a couple of new signups, which is just in time. If you sign up now between now and Sunday's show, you're eligible for the Wheel of Wonder, where you can win a game or a year of Xbox Live or PlayStation.
Yep, we do it every month.
If you're so inclined. So
get a free game.
$1 in a dream, folks.
$1 in a dream.
Folks. So yes. Salty, what do you got going on?
Funny, Axel1324 says Saltiest Gaming will never be on Xbox Station again. Yeah, it was fun while it lasted.
Great.
Fun while it lasted, guys.
Listen, everybody can have their own opinions, man. There's never any issues, man. Never, ever. So, Gadang just posted the Skype account, MC Show Live and Skype. If you want to call and leave voicemails, you can also win in there. Usually there's less than 10, so you got a 1 in 10 chance to win something cool.
Great
usually.
chance.
Yeah,
I'm gonna call in. Anyway,
hell yeah,
do it, Salt.
Okay.
Absolutely, everyone's
yes,
welcome.
Exactly. So you got the saltiest podcast, huh?
Yep. Tomorrow, Thursday, 9 p.m. Eastern, and that's about it, man. Hit me up on Twitter, the Saltiest Gaming, the Eyes of One.
Exactly. Good stuff. We've got Predator. What's up, man? How's it going, man? Did you enjoy your second stint on the show?
I did, very much so. Happy to be here again. Still having withdrawals from not being able to play Anthem this week, but
that's another thing we didn't get to talk about.
Anthem.
Yeah, sorry.
That's all good, man. You had a lot of topics, so at least we covered some of the big ones. So thanks for having me on, man, second time around. Hopefully I get a chance to pop back in here and in the clutch when you need me. Just send out the bat signal, I'll come.
Hell yeah, man! He hit those clutch threes, man. That's what it's all about.
Yeah.
And then we got the Don. What's up, man? What do you got going on? Some mud trucks, some. Oh, well, you don't got next podcast, but
don't got next podcast this week. No, I'm just gonna spend that time working on my YouTube channel. So if you guys want to follow me on Twitter, it's the Don_KTR. My YouTube link's on there. I'm working on content. I'm actually working on the intro as we're basically talking on this podcast throughout the thing. So hopefully I'll have that done today, and then I can start putting content up.
Awesome news. That sounds awesome. And Foxy had to leave early, but she was here earlier. Make sure you guys check out her channel and stuff and her content. She does a good job as well. And we will be back. Check out everybody. Subscribe, all that kind of good stuff. Like, share, all that good stuff. And we'll catch you guys next time. Game on. Have a good one. Have some fun. Stay warm. Rack 'em up. Later.